Okay, so good evening once again. Welcome to Digital Z Hub. Okay, so mastering Microsoft Office. So far so good. If I'm to rate us, if actually we have been practicing, I will assume that by now anybody who has been attending this class should not be novice when it comes to electronic data processing with Microsoft Word. So far, so good. By now, we should understand the interface of Microsoft Word. We should be able to identify the various parts and also understand their roles. And then we should be able to know how to process Word with those basic commands like bold, underline, color, and the rest of them. And then, of course, in our last session, we introduced word processing layouts, which is column, which I said it is a structure that helps us to break down our single working page into different divisions. And I highlighted different scenarios where that particular format can be used. All right, so in this session, we are looking at the one of the powerful structure as well, which sometimes is challenging to some persons. So we are going to look at table. So we are looking at table. For those that want to write, you can start writing. We are looking at table. And then once I'm done with table, my plan is to stay on table for 45 minutes. Because we have a lot of components around it that we need to simplify. And then probably the next 30 minutes I'll switch to little bit graphics aspect of Word, which is not actually the primary essence of using Microsoft Word, but it is good. We understand how to handle the graphic aspect to some extent because of some types of job or work we might be given to type in our workplace. So let's look at table. So what is table? If I ask those that are hearing it for the very first time, I'm very sure that their definition of table will be that woody constructed object where they place computer and others. But as far word processing is concerned, a table can be defined as a two-dimensional structure which is used to simplify or break down information in rows and columns. I hope somebody understand that. Please, if you are writing, I don't want to write so that I'll be able to cover what I want to cover. Now, what I'm saying is that a table is a structure, all right, is a two-dimensional object or structure which we use in data processing, in word processing, just to break down our entries, our data, either in vertical, that is column, or row. So let me quickly sketch it so that you understand that definition. So when I said it is a two-dimensional object, what I'm simply telling us is that it has two axes. So we can say the vertical axis is y-axis, while the horizontal axis is what? S-axis. All right? Now, the purpose of using these formats to type document is because the user want to break down his or her information in column, which are the vertical arrangement of information, and row, which is the horizontal arrangement of information. So this is actually the format we are referring to as table. All right, so let's look at the perfect example or scenario where this format is used. Most of our results in university are usually published with what? This format called table, rosters, timetable, talking about exam timetable. So even in some cases, some financial institutions use this format just to be able to tabulate their accounting system. So it's a very much used format, and it is somehow logical to use, particularly if you want to use it beyond the basic. So that is our major focus tonight. All right, so now let's take our time to identify the table component as the next topic. Now you understand what table is. You can sketch this and also label it the way I am going to label it. We have understand what table is. We have also mentioned where and when it can be used, what we can use it to type or to process. All right, now let's quickly spend some time to identify different parts that makes up this table. So a table as a format has the following part. We have these vertical spaces. We have these vertical spaces, and they are called columns. Don't mind my writing. They are called what? Columns. All the vertical spaces, they are called columns. Right? Then we have the horizontal spaces, they are called rows. They are called rows. All the horizontal spaces, they are called rows. So we need to establish that. Now, that is how you can identify a table. Now, what is the role of each of these parts that we have labeled? Now, all these boxes, all the boxes, they are called cells. They are called cells. All the boxes, all these boxes you are seeing, they are called what? Cells. Now, this edge line here, and this one, and this one, and this, they are called border lines. So we need to understand all the various parts that makes up a table as one of the structure are used in word processing. All right, now let's quickly look at them one after the other so that one will know criteria for creating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 column or 6 column. That is where you know their functions. Now the columns are used for entering your data field names or label. For example, I can say this one is customer name, that is a field name. This one is product name, that is a field name. This one is quantity, that is a field name. This one is rate, that is also what? A field what? Name, and so on. So we should understand that the columns are responsible for creating your database headers. All right. Now, in other words, if somebody is giving you a document to type using table, it's not necessary that he mention or he sketch it. So he can just draft it and tell you that he can put it in form of words that go and create data with what number of heading. So once you hear heading, it automatically inform you the numbers of what columns that will be needed. Now, I really want us to pay attention to this topic because when we start Excel in the next class, you will see that Excel working environment looks like this. So you will hear me using these terms again. All right, so the columns are the vertical spaces used for defining your data headers. Now, the rows are for entering records. Record can be defined as the collection of related field name values. For example, what you collect here, let's say someone named Prosper, and what you collect here as the person products, let's say printer, and what you collect here, what you collect here, what you collect here, form a record. Another information you collect here, you collect here, you collect here, form another record. So which means that if I am asked to create a data system with what? 20 field name for 50 employee or customer. Now, once I hear 50 customer or 50 employee, that automatically tells me that I am going to need 51 headers, 51 rows, because the first row will always be assigned for defining your headers. All right. So now that we understand the table structure, now I have to go through this explanation so that we can all be on the same page as I begin to sketch it. All right. So that now that we understand what table is, now that we understand what table is, I don't know if can you guys hear me? Somebody complained that I cannot hear me. Marcus,
Bluetooth mode.
We are hearing you.
Okay. All right. So now that we have explained what table is, now let's quickly look at how do I create it. So if I have given a drafted data in form of that table, because sometimes your boss will just sketch it on paper, and then probably they will just put the value, write all the information, and give it to you to go and type. So whenever such document is given to you, how do you go about it? Now, that will now take us to the method of creating table. Method of creating table. I will just quickly highlight that, and then I will start teaching us how to use the method. Methods on how to create this table that we just talked about. So there are actually two basic ways you can create your table. It's either you create it manually. Manually means that you are the one that will sketch the columns, you are the one that will sketch the row, you are the one that will sketch the borderline, and all those components we just identify. It becomes your responsibility to draft them, to draw them. All right. Now we have the insertion method. The insertion method is where you are leveraging on already created molded table. All right. So which is actually recommended in service, because you are not expected to waste the customer time unnecessarily. But for learning purpose, I'm going to walk us through the both method. So the first method, which is the manual method, you can be writing your step, like I said, because I want to conclude everything on Word. If I start writing, we may not cover as much as possible. So just make sure that you are taking notes, and the video is always there for you to recap. Now, anytime you want to create a table, see a table as a database that is used to what? To hold information within a document. So that document should have a kind of heading that describes the content of the table. In some cases, the header can be within the table, while in some cases it can be before the what? The table. So let's assume that it's going to be before the table. Now, anytime you are using this table, if the headers are much, for example, now I'm going to need up to like 12 columns, then I should switch my orientation, which is part of what we learned under page setup, going to what? Your layout, and then switch your orientation to what? Landscape, so that you can have more vertical what? Division, right? Then you cannot type that particular information. Let's say what? Student database. All right. Now you take your time to format it, highlight it, In other words, to improve the appearance, take it to the middle. If you like, you can increase the font size. If you like, you can change the color if it's going to be printed with a color printer. Then you return to the next line and then return your alignment to the left and then reduce the font size to like 12 and then pick your black color back. Then after that, you can drop the effect. Why I am dropping all these things is because I don't want the content of my table to have the same appearance with this. That is why as soon as I step out from that line, I am returning all those words command. Remember what I told us in one of our classes. I said that word processing is about at some point you pick command, then another point you drop them. So you must know how to activate the command you need. You must always know how to what? To drop them if necessary. Now, which means that our table will start from here. So once you have typed, so the first thing for those that are writing step, for you to create a table that have header before it, you type that header, format it first. When you are done with that, then you take your cursor to where you want to start the table. And then you go to insert, and then from insert, you are going to see table. So from table here, because it is the manual method, you go to the draw table. All right. So once you click on it, two things are activated. One, the pencil is activated and the ruler is also what? Activated. I believe the both rulers, as vertical and horizontal ruler, electronically are attached to that pencil. So which means that you hold down the left button and start dragging. So what am I doing now? While I'm doing that, it is important that I activate my margin so that we'll have nowhere to stop. So how do we activate the margin? How do we activate the margin? It's one of those things I told us. All we need is just to go to view and then turn on our ruler. That will enable us to know where and where our margin stop. So once you have created the border line, then you can now start the division. Now, while you are creating this, never mind whether they are equal. I'm going to show you a tool that will equalize them for us automatically. So just make sure that you have the number of columns needed, and then you place the pencil on the vertical line and strike a horizontal line. Make sure that the line is straight. So this is how you can create the table manually. Now, if I want to make the width to be equal of all the columns, all I need to do is to make sure that the table area is selected so that you can access design and layout. So once you activate the table, for example, just pay attention. Once I step out of this table, you are not going to see this tab. You are not also going to see this tab. So let me go out now. You see it. So for you to see those tabs, the table must be active. So in other words, for you to add any other command, you have to make sure that the table is what? Active. Then once you have ensured that, you go to layer section. You will see these two commands. One is to distribute the rows and the columns. What? One is to distribute the rows and the column. One, of course, both of them. This one is for the rows. So if I click here, you see that all the rows are automatically what? Equal now. So just make sure that you are inside any of the cell while you are clicking on any of these options. So if I want to distribute the column, the same thing. All right. So, but at times you may not really mind making them equal, because when you start making entry, for example, now, the first one is serial number. So you use your left hand, your arrow to move to the next cell. So let's say this one is a customer name. So I'm creating a simple sales inventory. Or okay, since we said student database, so serial number, let's say what here should be their names. Then here should be their class. Then here should be their reg.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome.
Hello. Good evening, sir. So sorry. Madam Wakuso, she has been trying to, she has logged in, but says she can't hear you.
No wonder I was calling her and she was not responding. What is happening to her?
She said she can't hear you. I don't know. I've asked her to check. She says she has checked, but she can't hear you. You're supposed to be seeing her. She has logged in.
Yes, I think, let me check if she's still here. She's not in for now. So let her re-log in. I think it's her network. If others can hear me, I
Okay.
don't think it's from my end. Others are hearing me. So just continue assisting her. All right.
Okay.
So reg number, let's say year of registration. So let's say, what do we put here? Okay, so let's leave it like this so that we learn how to remove excess column. All right, so now I can start plotting in my value. Let's say this is the first number, second number, the third number. The name, I can compute some name. Let me start with my name. So that will not be an Aguero. Let's say Jude. Okay. Then, because every one of you are going to do this as an assignment, right, to be submitted before the class, if possible. So class, let's say JSS. No, I shouldn't be in JSS. Let me say what? SS. Let's say SS. Just example. The reg number, let's say 0011. Let's say what? 0022. Let's say just only trying to. Then the year, let's say 2024. Let's say 2025, 2026, for example. All right, so you can see how we are able to what? To compute all this value easily. All right, so this is a manual method. Like I told us that when you are working in an office, do not waste your time going this way. I'm going to show us the second method, which is going to be the recommended option. All right, because it saves time and it's faster. All right, so I am going to come back to the editing. There are a lot of tools. All these tools, I'm going to touch them. All these tools, let's say 90% of them that are applicable on this table, I'm going to touch them. But for now, what I'm focusing on now is that how to develop the structure first and how to impute value into it. Before we talk about how to format it, how to style it. So this is the table that we have created using the manual method. So I want to copy this Control C, then Control N to ask for a new document, a Control V to paste it. So I'm leaving this document because I'll still come back to it. So I just created another document to practicalize the other method, which is what? The insertion method. Now, the insertion method is like the automatic method where you only need to specify the numbers of columns and the numbers of rows you need, and then every other component will be created for you automatically. All right, so peradventure you supply less than the number of columns. Under the tools that I'm going to explain, you will learn how to add more, you learn how to remove. All right, so let's assume that we want to replicate that same table here. So we have our header processed, and then you return your cursor here. Now, because it is insertion method, you go to the same insert. When you come to table, you go to what? Insert table, and that will prompt you this dialog box. What is it asking you? Number of columns, number of row. So if the document that was drafted and handed over to me stated that I should prepare maybe 6 inventory, and the person I mentioned the header, serial number, customer name, whatever, for 50 customer, hearing that 50, now once I have counted the headers, if they are 12, so I'll come here and put what? 12 here. And if you say 50 customer, I know that what? I'll put 51 because the first one will be used as the header. So I will just say 51. All right. Then the next thing, I will just click like this. You can see how it's brought out the structure automatically. That is why I advise that when you are working in an office, please stick to this format. All right, because it makes your work faster. But if you are, in fact, there's no issue. Just make sure that you use it because it saves time. All right. So now we can now begin to compute our information as usual. So with that, I want to delete the table and show us another method another method that you can use when you are in hurry or you just choose to use it. So I'll go to layout, and then come to, you see this table, you cannot delete it by pressing delete button on your keyboard. You must come here to what? Must come to layout after selecting the table, and then you go to delete, and then from delete, before you specify what exactly do you want to delete. Is it the table? Then you say what table. That is the only way you can remove it. Now, the next thing I want to show us now is this. Pay attention to this. It's a logic. It's a logic that some people may not understand. So if I type hyphen, 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 let's say what? How many of them? 1, 2, 3. And I say plus, plus, plus. All right. If I press enter, sorry, let me see. If I do, let's say plus, 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 and then I do hyphen, hyphen, and then I press, oh, okay, maybe this is not working. There's a way. Let me see it again. Okay, this is not working with this particular one. I know it works. So now what I wanted to show us now is this. Once you have placed your cursor where you want to, sorry, I think I've returned it here before. So let me just take this back, return the font size. Okay, sorry, this is a new page. I've not done that. Drop this effect. Now you can actually do it faster by just coming here and then you just do something like this. You can just do even one like this, one line. Now, after you have created that one line, you can just come to the last one here, press your tab. If you check your keyboard, you see TAB, press it. That will add another one. Then come here, press it. That is, I'm pressing the tab, right? So just come to the last one, press tab. That is if you probably insert below what you wanted to insert. So you can always add. All right. So now that we understand this, I am going back to the other one and use it to start explaining what we call table tools. We refer to that as table tools. Now, it is not just creating the structure. You should understand tools that can be used to regenerate it. Because sometimes somebody can draft a complicated table structure for you, and you can find it difficult to work with. So in that case, if you understand these table tools, you'll be able to navigate. Now, the table tools are divided into two. The first set are what we call designing tools. These are the tools that you use when you are defining the structure. And then we have what? Modification tools. These are the tools you use to adjust it. So let me just take us, when I was creating the manual now, for example, if you notice, I went to what? Insert, and then I came here. This is one of the two, draw tool. All right, which help us to what? To open up the borderline, and also help us what? To strike and to create what? Both the horizontal spaces and the vertical spaces. So this is one of the table what? Designing tool. All right, now another table designing tool, in other words, another tool you need when you are creating the table is eraser tool. Now, the eraser tool can be used creatively if you are smart. For example, I have a header that should come here, a header that will coordinate or control what is here and what is here. So which means that this line need to be removed. So how do I remove it? I go to the eraser, I'll simply just touch it. You can see that I have defined another structure. I can say, okay, I want to remove this. So this might be the table structure you want to use for your processing. So all these things, you need to know them. You're not just creating the general table. There are some data structure you'll be given to type that will require you using these tools to manipulate it. And that is the reason why I want to walk us through them. All right, so Control Z to bring everything back. So I've explained this. So just in case you want to add a line here, you pick that tool again, you will just draw the line. Just in case you want to even define another structure here. So with the help of this tool understanding, you can always redefine your table. Let me get a response if we are following.
We are following, sir.
Sorry, sir. So,
All
but sir, the eraser tools, we need you to come again with the eraser tools.
Okay, now I want to delete all these things that I've created, which means the eraser. So I will drop the draw tool and pick the eraser tool, and then I'll keep touching those lines, keep touching those lines, keep touching them until they are removed. When you are through, you can go back to what? To the draw tool. That is for the eraser tool. Now we have the delete tool. Now, remember we started by identifying the table component. I see a table has column, has row, has cell, has border. So if for any reason like this now, good, this is a perfect situation. You see the whole of this place is excess and you want to remove it because you would not like to print the document like that. So how will you remove it? All you need to do is to click inside that cell, any of the cell inside this column. So what I want to remove is the entire column. What I'm going to do is to go to what? Layout, and then you navigate to what? Delete. Then you should be able to know that it's column that you are removing. All right. So if I add extra, if I want to add extra row now, that is modification 2. Where do I want to add the row? Is it below this or above this? For example, I made a mistake. Someone's supposed to be here before this. So which means that I need to add empty row here so that this one can go down. So I'll click on that one that is currently occupying where the one I omitted is supposed to be. Now, you now come to insert what? Above, so that to add it at the top. All right, so you can come here now and say, okay, insert what? Below, insert below. You can see that I'm using that word to add more now. Now, what I want to show us now is that how, in case I have excess rows like this, just like the way we remove the column, how do we clear them off? So it is also very simple. You can highlight all of them like this, and then you go to what? Delete, and then you identify it to what? Delete row. All of them will go. If it is just one you want to remove, make sure you are inside that one, go back to the delete, and also select what? Delete. So you should know how to, okay, I want to delete a cell. I can come here also and say I want to delete a cell. But when you want to delete a cell, it will ask you that, okay, because that space need to adjust. So after removing it, what should happen? Like I say, okay, after removing it, shift to the left. Then you see that what? It will remove it and move to the left. So these are some ways. All these tools that I'm touching, you need to know them because it's not every time they will give you this straightforward table format to use. All right. So at some point, you may need to redesign the table. All right. So now we have explained here, I've explained here, I've explained here. Now I've also explained here, I've also explained here. Now I want to explain here. These two, they are for adding more column, just like the way I was adding row now. Let's assume that there is a header that's supposed to come between reg and year. So you click where you want it to start from. So I can be here, I can be here. So if I am here and I want that header to come between these two, so I'm going to use what? Insert what? Right. So if I select this now, it will add it to the right hand side. So if I wanted it to add it to the left hand side, then I will select what? Insert what? Left. All right. So these two are for adding more column and what? Either to the left, to the right. So we should know them also. Now, I want to remove them now. Remember, I will just come here, delete what? This column. Now, the next tool is what? This one. Sorry, I've explained this. The next tool is this one that is currently not active. And there's a reason why it's not active, because it's called mesh cell. To mesh cell means you are collapsing cell. These are cell. All these boxes, they are cell. For one reason, the other time we were just trying to be creative by using the eraser tool to eliminate it. So what I did here now is what? I just mesh. Now I can decide to say, okay, I'm not good at using the eraser tool. Right? I want to use the right tool that is used for merging. So before it can be active, it must detect that more than one cell is what? Selected. So now you highlight across. Once I highlight across cell, you see that what? It is active. Then I can just click on what? Merge. So to clear all the line at once. I can say, okay, I want this place to be merged, highlight it, and then also what? Merge. So that is the work of that one. All right, so the other one, this one, I want to go to the other table and use it to explain to us. All right, so here if you look at this, let's go back to the layout. We're talking about split cell. Split cell is, okay, I think I can, okay. Split cell means you have a single cell and you want to divide it into multiple sections. So you click inside that cell and you click, it will ask you to how many columns and how many rows. Okay, give me 2, 2. Click OK. You can see automatically. Instead of you using that draw tool to sketch, you can just split. So that is the work of split. Then we have the next one, which is split table. Now, this split table is very important. All right, so I will just click here and add more what below. Add more below so that we can have enough rows before splitting. Now, where you have it like this, now the idea of this is that if you are asked to create a school exam timetable for GSS1, for GSS2, and for GSS3, and you are asked to print everything on one paper, all right, so what you are going to do, you are going to create a full table like this, then you now split it into sections. But before you split, you can't start your splitting from here. You have to count down some rows. So I'll say, okay, from here, will be separated as a different table. So once you have count down the rows, then you go for the command split table. All right, so at the moment, this is a table. That's why I can click on it and then probably go to the design and then come to shading and then give it color without affecting this. So this is a different table. I can click on it here, also go to design. You can see that I've left layout. Go to design, then choose the color, and then so that is just to prove to you that they are no longer together. So I can count down some rows and also what? Go back to my layout and split again. So you can use it to have multiple word structure, all right, that can capture different category of what? Information. I hope we are still following. Let me get a response as well. Are we still following?
Yes, we are together.
Okay, so I don't know how many persons are joining with their laptop. So I've just decided to give us some time. But I'm trying to see how I can cover everything. You can see that with the video and take it bit by bit. Okay, so that I can cover, because the next class we are moving from Word to Excel. All right. Okay, so now now we are still on those tools. Let's go back to layout. Let's go back to layout. Once I'm done with this, I'm coming back here to explain some of these things. All right, but let me just complete this one. Now we have, let me undo everything back. We have, I think this one now. Let me go to this one, because this one is not actually giving us what's wanted. I will use it as a perfect example. Okay. Let me delete this comment. Okay, so the next one is the layouts. We have auto fit. Auto fit. Now, there are times that you create this table, everything will be on one side. It will not distribute across the entire page width. That is when you need to know this place. So right now it's fitting. How do I know that it's fitting? Because the space here is equal to the space here. Now let me deliberately change it. If I select window now, I think this will fit better. Let me choose this one. You see this one. There are times you can create your table. This is how it will come. And you just be struggling, adjusting manually, all of that. Sometimes you may not distribute it equally. Once you have this kind of issue, just go to the auto fill, then select what? Auto fit content. That is the one we are now. So by the time you select window, so that to stretch it and allow it to fit the entire paper. Now we have already touched it before. So these ones are for manually increasing the height of your row. Maybe where you want, sometimes the header, the row that is holding the header, you may just want it to have higher heights over other. That's what I did now. Or you can just click inside any row and say, okay, I want to expand it based on what I'm having there. Then you can highlight all this and then go back to you can control your alignment here. Can you see the right top are not changing their location? All right, so you need to know how to use this alignment. Okay, so now this very one is called text direction. Text direction is where you see some cases where the header can be vertical. So I can just highlight all this header only, I'll say, okay, they should stand what? Like this. So right now they are facing down. If I click again, it will change to face up. So that is how you can use that particular function. All right. Then if you want to set cell margin, right, you can just click here and set the top, set whatever. All these ones you can adjust them yourself. And then once you click, it will adjust. All right. So instead of that one, you can use it. Now, the one that another thing again that is applicable here, sorting, we are now arranging number. Convert to text is very important. Now, at times in accounting, the person just wants, let me tell you, let me show you, let me particularize it. Control N. Let's say I'm in a new page now. After typing serial number, so I'll be using tab. I will say product name. I will use tab. Just why I'm doing this is that I'm trying to gain vertical what alignment. So you can bring in table. Table will automatically give you the structure. When you are done, you silence the line. That is what I'm going to do now. Let me go back to this work. Now, what the person actually wanted is not a tabular format like this. The person does not want the lines. He wants it to look like the table that we learned last time. But you are the one that created this table just to allow your information to flow vertically and to maintain certain alignment. So if I return this now, for example now, and I want to silence all the lines so that we just have the information arranged vertically, that is when you use what? Convert to text. So you click on it and then you select tab and you click. You see that what? That will take off what? The lines and still maintain your document in that alignment. Okay, so with that, you can Ctrl Z to bring it. So with that, logically, I have played around all the functions that are applicable to your table here. So let me go to design to round up this table and give us some time to refresh ourselves. Now, if I want the line color to be thicker, maybe for one reason or the other, maybe you have set of information here, you have another one, and you want to demarcate, you want to show that this session is different from this other session. It means that you will just thicken the line. So how do you do that? We refer to that as what? Line width. So this is where you choose line width. Now, because as at the time you were creating the table, we are not on this thickness. Now that you have chosen that thickness, you have to go back and trace that line to apply that particular thickness. So let's say I want to divide the table into 3 sections, or let's say I want to divide this into section as well. So let's say this. All right. So if I want this line to be colored, then you pick a color. Now you have to go back. So what you would have done, that time you pick the size, you pick color, you configure everything, then so that you can apply it at once. Now, this one is where you want to color, the boxes. Sometimes when you are preparing timetable, the school can ask you to find a way of making the student to easily identify the compulsory subject. So those cells where you have mathematics, English, you can just shade them. You can just click inside those cells and then shade them. So that is the work of this. There, all this one that you are seeing, they are not for somebody who wants to create his table or a table manually. All right, but they are used to reconstruct the table. They are like presets, like already made that Microsoft has already programmed and formatted, that anyone you pick, everything about that one will automatically transfer to the table you must have created. Now look at what we have created. So if I come here now and say, okay, I want to inherit this Microsoft Word format, I prefer this one, just click. So it disable everything you have formatted and return it to that standard. Now, when you are using this standard, that is when these tools are valid. These tools are only needed when you pick an option here, all right, which are used for redefining that already made. So after you have picked an option here, if you want to now readjust it, you now start turning on this and see how it's defined. You can see that one have removed this vertical line. I can click here, that one to have removed it. This might be the structure you want to use. So as you are turning them on, as you are turning them off, you are seeing the appearance. Anyone you don't like, you remove it. All right. So another thing again is that we have border painter. Border painter is just like maybe a particular effect. For example, now I want a particular line to be dotted line, all right, which is this one now. Then you will now go and click, it will convert it to what? Dotted line. I didn't get it. So let me trace it. All right. So if I want to increase the thickness, then I will also increase the thickness. Then I have to go back. So with this, I have concluded everything about what? Table. So we are going for a few minutes, and when we return, what I'm going to teach us is the last topic on Word. I will just play around some graphics aspect of Word, how you can insert picture, how you can draw shapes, how you can write on them. In case you are given a document that require adding a picture in between it, then you'll be able to handle that. So we are going for just 3 to 4 minutes break. And then if you have questions, you can actually ask within this period. So there is an aspect of Microsoft Word, which is usually referred to as Microsoft Word Graphics. Microsoft Word Graphics. All right, Microsoft Word Graphics. Now, let me see how fast I can go. Though it is not the primary. At times, I don't even like teaching students this aspect, because particularly when they are not going to, or when they are going to learn CorelDRAW and Photoshop. But the reason why I want to show us this, because this particular registration does not cover CorelDRAW and Photoshop. Because at times, when you expose students to the graphics in Word, they pay less attention to the core reason, the primary essence of Word, which is for typing. They don't work on their typing speed anymore. They will just keep, designing and all of that. But please, I want to advise you, everything I want to teach you now, if you don't know it, if you go for interview, it's not a problem. But you see, everything we have been learning till the table that I ended now, if they interview you on Word and you don't know that, it can be a problem. But this one is like optional. All right. So anybody interview you, if you cannot respond to this, they may not see it as a problem, but it's just like additional skill. It's called what? Microsoft Word graphics, which means design. For example, what are we supposed to learn here? If I have a document, let's say, because of time, I don't want to waste time today. Let's say we have a document like this. And within this document, we are asked to position picture between it for better illustration, or to use a shape. That's the major reason why we want to learn this. So let's start with how to insert shape and add it to your document. So you go to insert. From insert, you go to shapes. In some cases, it might be wrapped under what? Illustration. So you go to shape. So from shape, you can pick any shape and then draw it, right? Then you can come here to give the shape a color. You can determine the line color. You either turn it off or turn it down. Okay, so now you can reduce it, you can increase it, you can rotate it. Now let's say this particular shape now, we want it to break through the text. We want to place it between the text. All right, so you will now come to this text wrapping. So you say, well, through the text. You see that anywhere you place that shape now, it will be creating space for itself. It will be forcing the text away from that area. So there are some documents you'll be given to type where somebody will ask you to wrap picture within what you must have typed. That is the reason why I'm showing all this. That is for shape. Now, how do you now work with picture? You go to the same insert, and then you go to picture. So you should have the pictures downloaded in your system. Pick the picture you want to use. And then once you bring in the picture, go to the test wrap, then bring it in front so that you can move it freely. All right, because when you bring it for the first time, it's going to be created in line with the test. That is why it will be difficult for you to move. But once you come to test wrap or wrap test and then bring it in front, it will now enable you to move it freely. All right. Now, there are some default positioning that you can use if you don't want to be moving it manually. So you can just select the picture and come here. You can say, okay, let it be captured here. It will force all the text away from there. So you can come here and say, okay, let it be at the center or any other position that is available. All right. So you can crop, you can flip the picture. Let me get a human picture so that you learn what flipping is actually for. Let me see if I can see. You have a picture here. Picture that's facing. Okay, so let me take this one. So let's say you add a picture, like I said, go to test wrap and then bring it in front so that you can move it freely. Now I want it to face the other way around. That is the work of this. So when you come here, you can say flip horizontally. You can see that you have been able to change the angle of the picture. So you can flip as you like here, provided it's giving you what you are looking for. Then you can crop the picture. Let's say I don't want to see the computer. I just want to use this aspect for what I am doing. Maybe I just need this, and then you come back and click here. So all these, they are like Jira, they are like additional things that in case you are given a document where they ask you to add a picture, you know how to bring the picture, you know how to position it, and then you know how to do all of this. You can frame the picture. Maybe you want to add a frame to it. You want to define probably the frame color, you can define it, and then you can add some effects, maybe like glow, like shadow to the edge. You can change the layout. Maybe you want to use it to, you can see, want to write on it and all of that. So all these things are minor things that shouldn't be the primary reason why you learn Microsoft Word. All right. So any questions so far? This brings us to the end of Microsoft Word. Summary. I have touched the main command that you need to know. So I'll just give you an assignment to go and research on header and footer. Okay, somebody have question. And then you explain to us in the next class. Go ahead with your question, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, can we also draw this on Microsoft Word, like all this shape, all these how do they call it? All this all this shape that you start
irregular shape.
decagon.
You are talking about irregular shape. Yes, you go to insert. When you get to insert, you see them here. Look at them here. There are different shapes here, depending on the one you want to use. Then peradventure, maybe you want to sketch your own. You use this particular one, free transform. So you can now, that one you can now pick it. Can you see the way I'm doing it now? That is if you don't want any of those ones. So you can draw your own so long you are able to. You can pick them. If you are typing mathematics question, you will be needing all these shapes. All right. I don't know if I've answered your question. You can draw as many as possible. Have I answered your question, Oga?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, James.
No, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Please, my question, do you have programs on the Photoshop and CorelDRAW?
Yes, of course. I train all of them. There is a summit. I don't know if any of you have seen it on my WhatsApp. There is a summit that is going to be hybrid, live, that is physical and online. Maybe I will drop the update. It's free. 3-day summit. In that summit, I'm going to teach those things. It's just that maybe I will teach them for like 1 hour, maybe 45 minutes. But if you want the full training on graphic design, that is where I'll teach you CorelDRAW and Photoshop complete. That is, you want to be a graphic designer, want to build career around graphic design. That's where you learn that.
We have program for it, so you can contact.
It's okay, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I have two questions. One is maybe in case we input pictures and want to write on top or by the side or by the left.
Okay, now let me get a picture. Let me get a picture. Let's say, where are those pictures? Let me get a picture and then bring it to the front. You want to write on the picture. This is what you do. You cannot use this cursor test. You are going to use what you call word art test. So you click on, you go to insert, and then you come to where you have text here. You see this icon. It's called insert word art test. So you click on any of this symbol. Then that will allow you to write. So you can use it to write. Use it to write. So what is happening right now is that the text is at the back of the picture. So how do you order it? That is what you come here for. You can say what? Send. Where is it here? Which one am I selecting? So let me move the picture. Let me select the text. So click on the text. Then come back here. Select in front. Okay, sorry. Come here and select what? In front. So you have it here. So you can click. Let me add the picture here. So the reason why you are using this step because you can move it as you like. I hope I've answered your question. You can move it as you like. So let's say welcome. Please, that person that asked the question.
Yes, sir. Then the second question is there's this command there, this mailing. I don't know what mailing.
Yes, mailing, I don't teach it now because email has taken over that one. Nobody's using Microsoft Word mailing. So that was what was used to send bulk messages when we don't have all the Gmail and the rest. So does not have any value at the moment. I don't waste my time on those ones that does not. If you want to research on it, you can research on it. It's not difficult to add. I don't know if I've answered you well, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any question? Any question? Any question? So I believe that all you need to do in between. Well, like I said, I have picked the main thing that you need. This should be the third class on Word, if I'm not mistaken. So we really spend a lot of time on Word. So all you need to do is to sit down with those videos, keep typing as you are having challenges. You can reach out to me, just screenshot or do a video of issue you are having. Maybe you are typing something, you are having issue. Then once I'm free, if I do not attend to you instantly, it means that I could be teaching like this. So definitely I'll look into it. All these people, did you have question or the previous one? Let me know.
Sir, the question I want to find out is that how do we upload this thing now? Maybe we're working on the document, want to transfer it to send it to another file, or maybe inside somebody say, okay, send this document to me. How do we upload it?
Send it to him as what? Is it through email or WhatsApp or what? Let me know.
Or through email?
Yeah, we are going to treat email. We have not come to email. When we get to internet, we are going to learn all that. You understand? Internet is there, is part of the training. So then I will teach us how to mail, how to write mail, how to even use websites. So that is the last part that I'm going to end with. So from here, I'll move into Excel because I want us to spend some time to familiarize ourselves with the Word before I come back to, because then I'll still be working with Word, because I can just get a content from the website, bring it to Word, rearrange it, before mailing it. So we are still coming back to Word when we want to rearrange certain content before we mail them to any destination. Even the Excel, that is why I'm going to Excel. Then we will have learned Excel, so that if you create a report and they say forward it. Now, even converting your work to PDF, because if you are to send it via WhatsApp, they might ask you to convert it to PDF so that as portable document file, so that it cannot be tampered with in the process of sending it. All you need to do is just to go to File. If you want to save it as PDF, go to Save As, and then choose where you want to store it. Let's say Document, and then from Document, you change your format from this to what? PDF. And then once I click on Save now, it's going to save as PDF. All right, so I will just from there pick it up and send it to whoever I want to send it to. All right, so we are still going to be doing more of this. So this is now in PDF. Any other question?
Sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, please, you'll be using pen to draw. Like for instance, there's one particular class that you use pen to highlight, to draw a
Like what I'm
how do
doing
I
now.
say it?
Look at it now.
A board.
This is what you are saying now.
Okay.
Are we?
Yes, sir. So yes, sir.
You want to know where that pencil is coming from?
Yes, sir.
You want to start teaching online? So that want to be like me, so that I will show you the secrets. Okay.
I'm a teacher. I teach in secondary school. So
now it comes with your Zoom app. If you check your Zoom panel, you see where they wrote Annotate. That is Annotate. If you check your Zoom app, where you have those participants, chart, share, pause, layout, you will see Annotate. So once you click on that Annotate, it will bring out this panel. I don't know whether you are seeing where I'm touching now. Are you seeing where I'm touching? You have a lot of tools here. So this one is the Zoom test in case I want to write. Not using Microsoft Word. But I'm not sure if you are seeing all this that I'm touching. Are you seeing them? I'm not sure.
No, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, any other questions so that we can hand off?
Yes, sir, please. My questions are two. It's on the previous lesson.
Only you. They carry two questions. You get mad to go ahead.
One is on the test justification.
Okay.
So the other time when you type the information, the gap, the space in between the lines are not that much. So after highlighting it and press on justification, it aligns everything together. So my question is that, what if the text has the gap in between is a bit much? What do we do about that?
If it's much, you remove the gap now. I've taught you how to remove the gap. You highlight the whole lines like this, and then you come here, and then you select this last option. Is that not the one you're asking?
Yes.
You select the one, because after picking the list here, for example, now after you have chosen the list, if there's still gap, then you have no choice than to choose the one that says, now, because I've removed it now, it's showing half space. So if I go back now, after you have used the list here and you are not getting the space, then you fall back to the last one here.
Okay.
I hope is that all?
Yeah, you have answered the two questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Emmanuel Power, are you the one asking, or is the previous one?
This one is the previous one.
Okay. All right. Good night then. So
all right, good night, sir.
Now your project, now you have to be typing your project. Before we finish Microsoft Excel, I will ask for it. Start typing a document not less than 20 pages. Just be doing it. Just be writing on something. Let it cover up to 20 pages, not less than 20 pages, so that will straighten your hand. Now look for all those timetable and type to master this table. So look for all those documents that have these structures and type. Then you have issue. Then even if we are in Excel and you have issue in Word, you can still draw my attention. I can still hold on and explain to you. All right? So please. All right. Good night.
All right, sir. All right. God bless you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
God bless. Thank you, sir.
You are welcome. Thank you.